But Mr. Trump, you're not a nice person.
We don't need that.
If you give a gift of $1,000 today,
Hi, I'm Jane King, and thank you for watching. This show is all about public, private, and blockchain companies. We bring you the innovators behind the companies making the headlines in that space. Some are sponsored, some are invited, all are curated and focused on telling you, the viewers, their story. Here we go. SoMee is a social media site that will pay people who provide the content on there. So kind of a different concept than what we have seen with some other social media sites. And with me today is Marvin Columbus, performer, dancer, musician, writer, producer. Did I miss anything?
Dancer, choreographer, producer, cowboy, promoter, filmmaker.
Right. So, and with us, also his son, Dominique Columbus, who is going to share some of his experiences with SoMee as well. So welcome, both of you. Good to have you.
Thank you so much for having us. Appreciate it.
So I guess, Dominique, let's start with you. How did you hear about SoMee?
Well, honestly, through my dad. My dad, someone at the SoMee group contacted my dad, and Dad, you can tell the story, but he's the one who brought it to me. And when I heard the idea on what SoMee was doing, how they just integrated, the vision to this platform and how clear and concise it was, I was like, man, this is dope. This is really awesome to be a part of a company that can help you monetize your content differently than the other platform that's out there right now. And the fact that they can monetize it through cryptocurrency is always a plus, because right now with how big crypto is continuing to grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger, to have platforms that are acclimating along with the wave and utilizing it to monetize content, I thought was brilliant, so they approached my dad. My dad knows about my network. I'm an actor as well, so for me, it was like a no-brainer. I wanted to be a part of this company,
So Marvin, chime in. I mean, what did you see in terms of introducing your son to this, and what's the value that you see in SoMee?
Well, when SoMee first contacted me, I was like, wow, this is a lot. It's overwhelming. And I felt really good about the team. I got to go by how I feel about the people first, not just the content. And I was like, this is going to be amazing, but I can't do this without my son. Because my son, being the actor he is, and all the TV shows, hit movies, and all his influencers, and he's all into the cryptocurrencies. He's very, very smart young man. And I said, okay, let me call my son first and see what he thinks. And he said, Dad, we got to get involved with this. It's going to be amazing. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And we did Zoom calls and meetings with Kelly and Brad and Christopher, and they were just amazing people. And
absolutely
hit it off. And I'm so excited with all the stuff we got going on. I'm working on a show in Vegas with Rico Suave and Lisa Fiorillo, through SoMee, and me and my son got movies together. We got dance film, got the Ken Norton story with SoMee. So pretty much what we're going to be doing, SoMee's going to be involved.
Yeah. Well, and that's a nice lead into Dominique and your trip to Egypt, which you're going to be incorporating some of your SoMee work with us. So can you talk about that?
Yeah. So my roommate is an actor as well. The way me and him actually met is we did a movie together 2 years ago called Lolo. It's on Amazon Prime right now. You guys can check it out. After that film, man, he just became like my brother. You know what I'm saying? We just got super close, and he got an opportunity to work on another TV show in Egypt called Newton's Cradle. And the way it works in Egypt is really interesting. So, you know, during Ramadan, you know, they don't do anything. They're fasting, you know, there's like a 27-day period, I believe. And during the time frame of Ramadan, they put out these shows, you know, and they're like, how can I say it? They're kind of like, they're not like soap opera type of shows, but it's like, you know, you watch a new episode every single day to see what's going to happen, but it's just one season of like 27 episodes. So he was fortunate enough to book a lead role in the show. And now he's just blowing up out there. So me and a bunch of my friends who are also actors and filmmakers as well, we're actually going to go out there to Egypt to create content, to support our friend out there in his success. And as well as we're getting him on the platform and a lot of the other actors who he is working with out there in Egypt as well, because I thought it would be really cool to bring a whole different type of demographic to this platform, because there's so many people around the world that just don't know about certain things, but as soon as they get access to it, they'll get obsessed with it. You know, they just need to know about it, you know? So the reason why I'm also going out there as well is to be getting, you know, some other people on the platform as well. Again, a lot more like actors on the Egyptian world, you know?
Oh, that sounds like a great trip. So, I mean, how do you, and both of you can kind of weigh in on this. I mean, compared to other social media platforms, what makes SoMee different?
For me, I just like something new and fresh, and the fact that you can, you know, get paid by posting, getting likes, that's amazing. I mean, what other platform does that? You know what I mean? And like I said, we're both connected in different avenues of show business, you know, and I got friends in London, England, I got friends all over the world, and Australia, and I'm talking about SoMee because even my show I'm doing in Vegas, I was saying that SoMee's going to stream that worldwide, you know? So I'm like, and Dom going to Egypt, and, you know, one thing about Dom, you know, not only he's an actor, he's well connected in the influence world, you know? And with him having a big movie out right now with Johnny Depp, it's going to be huge. And SoMee, it's just a good team of people. I like the energy. I learned a lot about energy with my son. Yeah. You know, the team of SoMee, they're good energy. You know, that feels good to me.
Yeah, no, that's
you know, like on my side of things, like the reason why I think SoMee is very different from other platforms. Again, first of all, having a platform that can pay you for every like, every view, every follower, every comment that you get, again, is different. And the fact you're getting paid to cryptocurrency, again, it's what people want, because crypto is the future, in my opinion. You know, I just really see how it's just changing the world day by day. You know, having a platform that, again, that can acclimate with that is very different. You know, it gives people around the world opportunities to live life the way they want to, you know, starting to make money earlier on. You know, we have like YouTube, you know, their CPM is really high. So meaning every time you post a video, you can get a million views, but the rate that you would get paid when YouTube first came out versus to now is tremendously different. People were making so much money earlier on because the CPM was low, so people were able to make more money. But now people are getting millions of views on a daily, to where, like, so often where the CPM had to go up, so people aren't making as much money on some of these platforms like they originally were. So having a platform that can, again, be in that, like, you can get in early right now while, you know, you can still make more money before it continues to grow massively, like YouTube, like Facebook. You know, that's why people are doing a lot of content on Facebook, because their CPM was lower than YouTube. So people can do a video, right, and it'll get 100,000 views, but they can make anywhere from 20 to 30 grand on that video. Wow. Which is insane. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really about staying acclimated to what the world is doing. And that's why I think it's different from other platforms, because again, it has the cryptocurrency feature integrated with it, and it allows people to create a lifestyle that they want,
Well, thank you so much, Marvin and Dominique, for joining us and telling your stories. Best of luck on your trip, Dominique.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, come back.
Appreciate
and talk
that.
about it when you get back.
Oh, absolutely. We're gonna have more stories. I'm gonna be vlogging when I'm out there too. I'm actually creating like a whole vlog so I can be able to be ready to post it. So man, you'll be seeing that soon.
Great. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Petproducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company. Computer hacks have gotten a lot of attention lately, but one company has a technology, an independent platform that may be able to help prevent some of these. And with me to explain more about this is Alan Gyahi, who is the CEO of GlobalXSWISF. So great to have you with us.
Great to have you, Jane, and hello to everybody who's watching us.
Yes. So if you could just explain, because of course we went through the Colonial Pipeline situation, there seems like there's a hack, every week. Explain what your company does and how it is different than some of the technology platforms that we're seeing right now.
Sure. So gladly, we are a Swiss-based technology company. I'm from Switzerland myself. We do have operations and a publicly traded company in Canada. And in the US, we have our subsidiary as well. We trade under ticker SWISF. What we do is we developed a suite of communication tools, such as email, messaging, backup, and file share under the brand Secure or Secure Safe. So what Secure does, spelled SEKEUR, what we do is we developed a proprietary email system and a proprietary messaging system with privacy and security in mind. Our advantage are the following. For example, we don't use big tech platform, so we're not on Amazon Web Service, we're not on Google or Microsoft Cloud. We've never developed under those platforms. That makes us independent in terms of privacy and also less prone to hacking because we have never developed our code in open source. So that's kind of one of the advantages. And all our data is stored in Switzerland, which gives you the strictest data privacy laws in the world. Mm-hmm. So if you were a business or somebody who doesn't want to have your data mined, because we don't do data mining at all, you would use maybe Secure Mail as opposed to Gmail or Office 365. And then definitely you don't want to use WhatsApp when you conduct business. You want to use Secure Messenger. That's pretty much what we do.
Very interesting. Tell me a little bit about you, your history, and what drew you to privacy.
So I am from Switzerland as well. Swiss people are very private. It's a nature. It's in our DNA. It's in the Constitution. I've had personal experiences with privacy breach. So it kind of drove me into developing these solutions for people who really need some protection. Because our data is out there and it's for sale all the time, there's no service you can go to. I mean, I'm even afraid of giving my email. We all have maybe a couple sets of email, one for the mailing list when you sign up for something, and then you want to have your private email. But what we don't realize is all those other email services, they data mine you. So I wanted to offer, basically, we wanted to be the privacy king when it comes to your data and communication. Mm-hmm. So we developed the system about 8-10 years ago in Switzerland, and then we started to push internationally. We have a couple of telecom operators as partners. America Mobile, owned by the Carlos Slim and his family. They have about 300 million subscribers based in Mexico. And then we just signed a deal with Axiata Group, which is the largest South Asian telecom operator. And, we're growing the business like that because privacy and security are becoming a big concern. And, I'll address these hacking. The basic concept of how come we hear about all these hacks and email phishing and so forth? The problem is that the big companies, the big three or the big five, you used to have the big three in the auto industry. Now you have the big five in data and digitization. You have Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Facebook Group, which is WhatsApp as well. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they make a lot more money on data mining your data. And it's not like, when you hear about a hacking, it's not like a company is trying to hack you. A company will buy your data. Their priority is to exploit that data within less than 30 days or it becomes stale, and they don't really protect it. And then you have a hacker hacking that business, let's say, that needed to, target you for something. And that's how our data gets leaked out. It may or may not be directly Facebook or Google or Microsoft, even though they also have their breach, but it's all the other companies that buy your data that don't protect it. Yeah. So it's really like a tornado upon another tornado, and it just never stops. Hacking and breaches are not going to stop. They're going to increase. I don't know if some of us know this, but data breach costs the global economy over $6 trillion US a year in lost income or damages. So that's a pretty big economic damage.
It's huge. Yes, absolutely. And I believe it, actually, because I cover a lot of these things. So now you earlier closed your offering. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we did go public in July 2019. In Canada, then we went listed in 2019 October in the OTCQB under SWISF, and then we just completed actually our third and final retail offering. We have about close to $5 million Canadian, $4 million in the bank, no debt. No convertible, so we're in a very enviable cash position. We have a couple of overseas funds that are also looking at injecting more money. What we're going to do with this is we have a huge U.S. launch coming up. We believe that the U.S. really is a big market for us, and there's no solution like ours. So we raised $2.2 million, $2 million US essentially last week. We closed with a bunch of overseas strategic investors, and now we closed the retail funding. We're open now to institutions. So the other thing I wanted to mention back to our solution, we're the only company that doesn't ask for your phone number when you sign up for the app. So, you would go to secure.com, you buy the solution, because you cannot buy directly on App Store. You have to buy it from us first, and you download the apps, and then you don't give your phone number. That's also the most prominent way how you're going to get hacked on your device. We also don't upload your address book all of a sudden. Some of us may have switched from Facebook to Signal in the last few months, and if you're on Signal, you may notice sometime an alert that one of your friends on your address book is on Signal. So there's zero privacy. They're telling you that they're on the other application now. And that's because everything runs on this system of you give us your phone number, then we have your data, we can track you, we have all your address book as well, and we can track them. So that's very unique. We're also the only system in the world that lets you message a non-secure user. So if you're a realtor, for example, there was a breach recently on a huge mortgage broker. So if you're a realtor and you have some clients and you want to email them and chat with them without using WhatsApp, you can chat with them without them having to download our app at all, and then you can terminate the conversation on a self-destruct timer when it's all done. So I think those are very unique features of our solution.
Now, you mentioned Switzerland, and you have your private servers in Switzerland, right? So that is helping protect privacy. And can you explain how that works?
Sure. So the first thing we need to know is we are on our own infrastructure. If you are in Switzerland and you're using AWS, Amazon Web Service, who happens to be in the same data center company where we are, or Microsoft or Google, you are not protected by Swiss law necessarily, because the Cloud Act, which is a US law, dictates that no matter where your data resides, if you're using a US technology service or platform, you are basically prone to subpoena and your data is duplicated in the US. Because we're not on those platforms, we own our own servers. We rent space co-location in the data centers that houses the United Nations, the World Health Organization, the big banks, and we comply with Swiss law. And because we have our own thing, we don't need to have the Cloud Act. So the Swiss data protection laws are the strictest in the world. I mean, it is it's a penal crime to divulge your IP address without your consent. It's very, very strict in Switzerland. So you have the legal protection, the platform protection, our proprietary technology, and then these privacy by design, we call it, like self-destruct timer, deleting to bare metal. So when you go on WhatsApp and you say, delete the message for me, it's not really deleted on their server. They already data mined you. We don't do any data mining whatsoever, none. We don't even have cookies on our website. So we make money the old-fashioned way in Switzerland by charging you money. You know, this is how banks make money too. They still do that in Switzerland, believe it or not. There's no free anything in Switzerland. And it's the same thing for your data. If you want protection, in the old days, you used to put your money in Switzerland before the international exchange rules came in 2018, and nobody even knew you existed. This is the same thing here. If you want your data private, you come to Secure. You pay us $10 a month for an email and a messaging app with 100 gigabytes of the best multi-redundancy storage. All the features you can imagine. Our Secure Send feature that lets you send an email to anybody in the world without having any kind of prying eye on it. I mean, we have some really cool features. And you pay us $10 a month, and that's it. Yeah. The Messenger is launching next week at $30 a year or $3 a month. We may do some promotional campaign for $20 a year. I mean, who doesn't want to have their conversation a little bit protected and private? So yes, we charge money, but you know that we're not going to data mine you at all.
Looking forward to more conversations. Thank you so much. Fandom Esports is a new way for people to interact with both esports and sports with real-time data. And with me is the CEO, David Vinokurov, who will explain more about what Fandom is doing. So welcome, David. Great to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So how did you get involved with Fandom Sports Media?
Well, the whole premise has always been, how do we close that engagement loop? We have people at home watching TV, nowadays watching competitive esports, and sitting along and playing on something completely different on their phone. So the premise behind what we're trying to do is to close that engagement loop, have people be able to predict in real time or near real time what's going to be happening on their main screen or on their mobile device, and really, as you said, change the way that people are interacting with that data coming in real time for sports and esports and other streamed content.
Now, so you say interact, does that mean wagering, and what other things?
So yeah, we do have a wagering license, but again, not everybody is of age and certainly not legal everywhere. What our goal really is to allow people to predict what's going to be happening, with leaderboards, prizes, digital gifts, non-fungible tokens, which is our new digital assets. Basically, as I'm sitting, I'm watching an event take place. It's a simple as swipe left if you think this is going to happen, swipe right if you think that's going to happen, and then that's tallied into a global leader base. You can challenge your friends. There's a whole social community, similar to anything that you'd see, in a trivia night in a pub or something. Just a way to interact again with data coming in.
Yeah, interesting. So this is a mobile app that people can download, and they can interact with their friends and with their favorite teams and make predictions and just kind of enjoy the sports together.
Yeah, so we're going to have an app-based version as well. It's all powered by a proprietary machine learning back-end system that we just recently secured the IP for. This intelligent back-end, it's been used to sort, interact, and present data in very actionable ways in the healthcare sector, with insurance companies, supply chain logistics, facilities management. So we've secured that exclusive license. It allows us to present near infinite predictions, where a lot of our competitors can maybe do 100 or 200 predictions in a very static way, and keep people engaged longer throughout the entirety of a broadcasted event, and maintain a unique position in the market. So we're very excited about it.
That is a perfect segue to my next question: is what makes you unique?
Yeah, so like I said, the amount of predictions that we can generate, the velocity with which that we can present them in a simple, clean user interface is completely separate than what you would see on any other type of wagering site, period. The ability for us to then apply that in a gamified way outside of wagering and increase fan engagement across all stream types of content, again, is a unique proposition that we're going after because we can present that data in new, unique, and faster ways than our competitors can.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's your outlook for the industries you're involved in? So your sports, there's media, tech. I mean, this is all kind of seems like coming together. I mean, how do you see this industry and all these industries?
Absolutely, yeah. So what we've seen in esports specifically, starting with what happened last year with COVID-19, and the stopping of broadcasting of sports, we saw all the projections where we saw esports and esports wagering would be in 2024. That happened in the first several months of 2020. So the growth rates have accelerated. The sports wagering market is a $500 billion a year market. We see a lot of people rushing into individual state markets as those markets become open. So Fandom, we're able to participate in the gaming economy because we're appealing to all ages gamers. That's a $180 billion market. The esports and esports wagering market, that market's growing 40% year over year to about $14 billion this year. And, sports wagering, it's the Super Bowl of all wagering, to use the pun. So we're glad to be part of growing global multi-$100 billion markets.
Oh my goodness, yes. And it feels like it's just kind of starting, this whole esports and gaming.
Yes. Well, it's early in the U.S. It's been extremely huge in Asia for numerous years now. And as the states are opening up their licensing regimes for wagering, esports wagering is coming in on that front. So our first plan, our site is live now, fandomesports.gg. People can log on. They can see the predictive capabilities of the platform. And then, as the states scale out, we'll be examining different ways to get into each local market. And then, once we're in that market, then extend our capabilities to regular sports wagering as well.
Okay. So you touched on this a little bit. What do you see in the future? What are your goals for Fandom?
Our goal for Fandom is to enable all competitive esports to be accessible through our platform so that people can log on, watch their favorite stream, and make predictions or wagers, depending on where they are and if they're of age and so forth. While we're doing that esports rollout, we're going to be training our back-end system to apply that same type of capabilities to sports and sports wagering. So hopefully we should have news on those initiatives within the next 12 months. And our larger goal is just to fandomize everything, take predictions and polls as you're watching any type of content. And why not, if someone's watching The Bachelor, we're going to predict who's going to get a rose, right? That'd be lots of fun.
The opportunities are endless, yes.
Yeah, we just want to fandomize the world, basically.
Okay. Well, thank you. And come back with updates as you add new features and so forth. So thank you so much, David.
Thank you so much as well. Glad to be here.
FaceTime Promotions provides staffing for all levels of the beverage industry, and the services include field marketing, sales, brand management, even promotional vehicle programs. So with me to explain a little bit more about what the company is doing is Carla Rissel, who is the founder and CEO of FaceTime Promotions. So great to have you, Carla.
Hi, Jane. Nice to have you. Thanks for visiting today.
So let's just start with just kind of an overall company profile. I gave a little bit of a hint, but go into more depth about what you do.
Well, we are primarily focused on event staffing for the alcohol industry. And what that boils down to, and one of the reasons we've done so well, is we're focused on moving sales. So helping our customers sell into retail and on-premise and off-premise, which I can go into that a little bit if you'd like. But we help move cases of alcohol into retail outlets, like you probably have Total Wine where you are, or ABC, little mom and pop corner stores. And then we also work with restaurants and bars, festivals, like we're doing a huge event, the Pepsi Jam in Panama City this weekend for Cupcake Wines. We did their booth and everything, like we designed their trade show booth basically that they're going to have at the event. So there's really no end to it. We also help with brand ambassador programs. We do store surveys. So if someone sells in a 100-case display, we can help them go make sure that those displays are put up properly. Just anything to do with the alcohol industry and moving those cases through and helping our partners, which are the distributors and suppliers, get more product into the market and more liquid to lips.
Okay.
I like to say we help get bottles into hearts and carts.
Liquid to lips. I'm going to borrow that one. Okay. So tell me a little bit about your background, because you have been in this industry for a while, right?
Yeah, I was looking at it today. I'm like, wow, we started in 2004 and it was just me and a computer. And for years, I was able to do that. And just in the last couple of years, I realized I can't handle all of the volume. I started out in the beer side of this because I used to work for InBev, which back when I worked for them in 2003, 2002, it was Stella Artois, which everybody knows, Beck's, Bass, Rolling Rock. And we were just little 3% of the portfolio of most of the distributors that we worked with. And in 2004, we sold our import rights in the United States to a company called Budweiser, which now is known as InBev. So when Budweiser took over, I had been used to working for small craft, very cool, like brands like Stella Artois and Boddington's and Hoegaarden. And we were going to be selling Budweiser in the state of Florida. And I decided then that that wasn't really the direction that I wanted to go. And I started my own sampling company, which is FaceTime. And since 2004, been kind of plugging along and growing exponentially. Last year, we became public. We started Starstream Entertainment and became public through that vehicle. So FaceTime is now a wholly owned subsidiary of Starstream Entertainment. And that was such fortuitous timing because in June of last year, we had gone public and everything just started getting going. This is right as COVID was taking its grip. Just to give you an idea, we were doing about 1,000 events in March, the month of March of last year, and COVID hit, we went down to 4 events in April. The fortunate thing about going public is when every other agency either shut their doors or stopped doing business entirely, I was able to make all of my area managers employees and hit the gas and say, I know there's no business, but if there are retailers out there that want sampling still, and I will find the suppliers that will pay for them, you guys go and strengthen your relationships on the retail side, strengthen your relationships with the distributor people. I will find the suppliers to pay for those tastings. And so we went April, 4 events, 30 events in May, 70 events in June, and now we're back up to about 800 or 900 events a month. And that is with very many of our suppliers, like 2 of our biggest suppliers still aren't doing tastings at all. Okay. So we've grown with the direct bill to the suppliers, and we have one distributor, Republic National Distributing, that kind of never really stopped doing tastings. So it's very fortunate with that we were able to grow our partnership with them as well.
So the pandemic must have been a really interesting time because we know that alcoholic drinks went up during the pandemic, and liquor stores were allowed to stay open in most states, if not all. But yet you did events, which all had to be canceled. So, I mean, what was that like, and how did you navigate all of that?
Well, it was very interesting. So we just shifted our focus, and typically our business mix is about 20% bars and restaurants and 80% retail anyway. So we were very lucky that that was kind of, we were focused there already. Then when that happened, we just, like I said, I put my people to work, get out there and, go to see the Total Wines, go to those liquor stores and start making those connections with those people and get the business going again. We'll take care of it on the back end and we keep everything floating. The bars and the restaurants are now starting to come back, but it was just interesting that my distributor and supplier partners had record years last year. They're still having record months now that we're starting to come back, the on-premise, which is where you go in and you actually consume the beverage that you buy on the premises. So any bar, any festival, anything like that, that has come back with a vengeance. I mean, they're doing better than they ever have, and that's with so many closing. So it's really a really good indicator for our industry. People in Florida, people are ready to be out and about. They are elbow to elbow. You're seeing a lot of people not wearing face masks, but we're trending down with COVID numbers. So, I want to say, crossing fingers that we're past the hump on this, and hopefully it's great for our industry, because as more suppliers and more distributors start allowing tastings again, we're poised, we're ready. We've got amazing relationships. Our team tightened up. We invested in technology to make us more efficient and be able to handle more events and more volume. And, we have a lot of staff, it's part-time staff that we work with. It's 3 hours here, 2 hours there, but we were giving them paychecks all through the pandemic. And so they're very loyal to us now. So we were able to cull and pick the best staff too. So we have the best sellers, the best looking models, the most outgoing people, because we were there for them when no other agencies were giving them business.
Thank you so much, Carla, for joining us. It sounds like such a fun industry to be in.
You'll have to come down and come to some events. We do a lot of wine fests.
I think I might just do that. SmartKey is working with Orange on a unique blockchain partnership. And with me, I feel like we're friends, Shimona. We've talked on Zoom so many times. Great to see you in person. And I'm very excited that you're going to be breaking this news with us about your partnership with Orange. Now, we've got also on Zoom Sebastian Grabowski, the head of Orange IoT and Advanced Technologies. And so let's start with Sebastian. If you could just explain this partnership, the potential for blockchain, and the fit between Orange and SmartKey.
Okay, fine. This cooperation, this partnership has started around smart cities. As the Orange in Poland, we are the leader of at least two areas. The first one is end-to-end business. We are the leader of the market in Poland. The second one, there is the smart city. We are keeping still the leadership around services, smart services we are delivering to cities. Almost 6 months ago, in fact, we found Smart as the best standard to a little bit extend our services around cities. And that's why when we noticed the Smart Key as a potential feature based on our live object Smart City platform, we're going to give some tangible business benefits. We started this cooperation, yes, because for us as the operator, the key area is just to provide services for our clients. On the other hand, found some tangible elements to increase ARPU per SIM cards, M2M cards. Those two elements are behind of this partnership with Smart.
Yeah. Okay. Can you explain a little bit how you might leverage this partnership with Orange for more global growth?
Yes. We want to set up a new communication standard, worldwide communication standard. I could compare this standard to the Bluetooth technology.
Okay.
When you have something smartphone with Bluetooth, and the other hand I have
Okay, start over.
We are trying to set a new communication standard worldwide with Orange, and this is something like we have this situation today that we have a lack of communication standard between IoT smart solution based on SIM cards on smart devices, and for users that use this smart solution in one way. We have thousands of applications for smart homes, for smart cars, and this blockchain rule access control could solve this problem to communicate all this solution in one way. For us, it's a good example is a Bluetooth communication standard when you could use it to connect easily your smartphone with other devices, and you have a guarantee that as a user that you will buy something compatible with Bluetooth. You have guaranteed that you can use your accessories also. Yes, the same thing we will do with SmartKey, but we gave for smart cities and inhabitants of cities guarantee that where you are using smart services like public transport, like sharing economy cases, renting a car, bikes, or etc. You have guaranteed that you can use this technology in one way. It's a global standard.
Mm-hmm. So I understand you may be expanding this to New York City at some point?
Yes, we could say, but not official yet, that we are starting something huge also in New York City, and I think we could deliver some solution as an example of our cooperation, maybe even is this year.
Well, that would be exciting as a New York resident to see.
It's exciting in every region. Now we are in Dubai, and also here there is lots of interesting to use our technology in this area also. This is universal technology.
Well, it sounds exciting and more efficient, which would be nice. So Thank you both for joining us. Please keep us up to date as you have. It sounds like you'll be having some more news coming out later this year. So thank you. And thank you as well for joining us.
Blockchain, and with me, Niels Thurant-Ortiz, the CEO of Paypolitan, who I've talked to on Zoom for the past year, and it's finally I'm meeting you in person. It's really great, like to meet you in person and and to be here, to be like socializing again. It's a great thing.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so now you've told me the story about Paypolitan, how you're kind of disrupting the payment industry, and the last time we spoke, you had a new app. How's that going?
Yeah, first of all, I'm also very happy to be here to meet with you in person finally. So after this year of pandemic, only with Zoom, so we have a real camera team here. Yeah. We have a real studio, so I thought it would be New York at the NASDAQ.
I know, someday.
So finally we end up in Dubai,
yes.
which is more or less in the middle, right?
Right.
No.
Yes.
Maybe we should revise my geography classes afterwards. So yeah, we released our Paypolitan app, which is a payment app, in May. So end of April on Google Play, and in Apple Store we added it beginning of May. It took a bit longer because the procedure of releasing an app on Apple is a bit longer because they do loads of testings. But it's good because it's like kind of a label for an app. When you pass through Apple, then your app is solid and sound, and people really can use it without any concern. So we started with the DeFi features. I mean, we have a wallet. You can connect external wallets like a MetaMask, a Wallet Connect, or other wallets. You can stake your token, our token, either with a fixed duration of 6 months and an ALP of 79.9%, or you set your own duration. Could be a day, could be a week, could be a month, could be 3 days, and 4 hours.
For the staking.
Exactly,
right.
The staking part we have implemented. And that is for an, and the feedback was very positive.
Now explain, so there's a lot of people out there, we've heard a lot about Bitcoin, but they still don't totally understand how it all works. So walk me through it, like pretend like you're talking to my mom. So she downloads the Paypolitan app, and then what? What happens after that?
Right. So the last feature we're going to implement will be the cash payment. But before that, let's say you go to Walmart and you want to buy a laptop for $500. So you can choose either paying this with any of your bank accounts you're connected to our app, or you decide $500 is maybe a bit too much. I'm going to use an instant credit. So that means in that moment you click on that button, there's a background check of your credibility, if you're eligible for a credit or not. That is instant. And then you have a credit frame. Let's say, okay, I want to have $500. That is in token X amount, right? And the collateral, so the guarantee of that loan, of the credit you will get from us, you will use our token, the EPAN token. That means our token is having a new adoption. It will giving a totally different value also for the users, because so far you can sell it, you can buy it on some exchanges, you can stake it, but in the future you can use EPAN token, our Paypolitan token, as a collateral in order to get a credit.
To get a loan, okay. And then how do I get EPAN tokens?
Well, EPAN you can buy on Uniswap, on Bitforex, and GlobalXSWISF. And we have some new exchanges coming up until the summer.
Okay, and all of that value is stored then in the app, and then I can use that to make purchases at a Walmart, just like through my phone, like it would read.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, because the phone, the smartphone has an NFC chip. So the NFC chip is communicating like a credit card or like a debit card with a payment terminal. So we don't have to have a deal with the store, with the merchant, with the retailers. It's simply by direct debit. The same logic. If you have direct debit card, it simply goes either from your bank account. In this case, it comes from your wallet.
Okay. Well, that's what I was going to ask, because I can see me going to Walmart and going, I want to pay with this, and the person being like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But they don't even know.
They don't even have to know.
Okay.
They simply get a signal that the payment is validated, and the merchant will get the payment in US dollars on his bank account.
Okay. All right. So the first step, download the app.
Exactly.
Experiment around with it a little bit and just try it.
2 minutes.
Just
2 minutes,
yes.
You set it up, and that's it.
Okay.
Plug and play.
Well, I am looking forward to more updates as you add more exchanges and all the things. Every time I talk to you, there's something new.
All right.
It's great to meet you again, Nils.
Great to meet you, Jane, and see you next time in New York on the NASDAQ,
that
right?
That would be wonderful. Yes. Great. Thank you. Thank you as well for joining us. We'll be back. AskVet is a world leader in virtual pet care. Now, more than 500,000 pet owners consult the AI-driven engagement platform. And with me is Cal Lai, who is the CEO and chairman of the board of AskVet, to explain more about this. So, Cal, I was reading about this and I was like, what an ingenious idea. We've had telemedicine become such a huge thing during the pandemic, and it's only common sense that we would have vet care as well. So can you tell me a little bit about what led you to create this company and enter this space?
Yeah, thanks, Jane, for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I think that the concept really started in a very simple way. There are two real data points. One is I've been a pet owner my whole life, and the veterinary experience has not been a terrific one from a consumer point of view. You have to call, make an appointment, wait in line. You can imagine both with COVID and the tremendous adoption of pets during the last year and a half that appointments are hard to come by. We have always had a shortage of veterinarians in this country. I think the dramatic increase in animal ownership has really exacerbated that problem. So getting an appointment, unless you have an emergency visit, could take weeks. And it really frustrates a lot of pet owners. So, as a pet owner, I found appointments hard to come by. I found that often I would go to the doctor, take my pet to the doctor, have several $100s worth of tests done, and nothing was wrong. And that was really frustrating to me that, nobody would pick up the phone and where I could ask some questions, say, do I need to come in now? How important is this? They don't have any capability of triage, right? So what they do is they leave that in the hands of the pet parent. And we're the last people who are both knowledgeable and skilled at making that decision. So what do 31 million of us do every month? We go to Google and we search, my dog's having diarrhea, what should I do? My dog is vomiting, what should I do? So we pack our animals up, we take time off from work, we head into the clinic, and 70% of the time, nothing is medically wrong. The diarrhea will resolve itself, the vomiting will resolve itself. It's not the result of a disease state, it's the result of something temporal. Right. And that's been borne out by we've had more than 650,000 consults in our time, and we've borne that out. And the second part of it is, I'm really a big believer that lifestyle drives health outcomes. So this belief comes from a very, very personal place, right? So most of my life, I was massively obese. I weighed about 335 pounds for most of my life. I weigh 135 pounds right now. So I've lost about 200 pounds. So I was born very premature, and, the doctor said he's so little, he probably won't survive. And my parents and my grandparents said, no, he's going to survive. We're going to stick a bottle in his face until he gets bigger. So by the time I was 5 years old, I weighed 150 pounds. So I was a fat kid throughout all of school. I was a very overweight adult. I spent most of my adult life between 250 and 335 pounds. I go to the doctor and he'd say, God, Cal, you got to lose weight or you're going to die. You're just so morbidly obese. And I'd say, God, doc, believe me, it's been the bane of my entire life. How do I do this? And they'd say, you just got to eat less and exercise more. And I'm like, that's not helpful. Right? Of course I know that, but how do I implement that into my lifestyle? So I learned how to implement that for myself and my lifestyle. So I do a number of things. I'm a ketogenic dieter. I eat intermittent fast. I only eat for 8 hours a day. I have every disease known to man that comes about from being obese. I have hyperlipidemia. I'm diabetic. I have high blood pressure. I had lifelong gout. I had a knee replacement, a kidney transplant because my lifelong gout and diabetes destroyed my kidneys. So I had to figure out a way to get through this health crisis and really reset who I was. And I realized that it was about changing my lifestyle that really drove. If you look at me today, I lost 200 pounds. My blood work's completely normal. My A1C is under 6. I'm a normal person. All of those bad things that I had previously as a result of my being overweight went away. All because I was able to craft a lifestyle customized to me that I could make work. Well, I also realized that as a pet owner, it applied to my pets too. And they don't drive their lifestyle. I drive their lifestyle. So what I really wanted to do was create a way for pet parents to drive a healthy lifestyle for their pets, to avoid the pain, suffering that comes with neglect and time. So we all know our pets live longer, live healthier if they live well every day. So I wanted to create, like I did for myself, an app that walked parents through a process, a workflow to essentially maintain and keep a pet healthy throughout its lifetime.
Okay. What an amazing story. And congratulations for keeping that weight off. I mean, that's the hard part. And, you know, when you're so busy and you're running a company and you just want to eat and, you know, so congratulations. It's amazing. So you mentioned during the pandemic, there were so many pet adoptions. And I remember doing stories on no pets available and things like that. So that is one trend, I assume, driving the pet care market. What are some other things that are relevant to the pet care market right now?
I think what's really relevant is it's an enormous market, right? It's a $100 billion market. It's going to triple by 2050. And it's very ripe for disruption because the market is stuck in the 1950s. Modern veterinary care as we know it started right after World War II. And it's always the same model. You have a problem, you go to the doctor. And even in our human health, we don't really have health care in the United States. We have sick care. You see a problem presents itself, you go. But really, we all know that if we lived better lives, lived healthier lives, and we don't know what that means, we could actually live healthier, get sick less, avoid all the chronic ailments that come with time and neglect, and ultimately live longer. So it's all about that whole thing about creating this critical mass around behaving in a certain way every day. Now, interestingly enough, millennials represent the bulk of the spend in pet care. You know, they're between the ages of 25 and 42, starting families. 70% of all millennials have pets, and they really care about taking care of their pets' health just as they do for themselves. So if you think about most millennials, they are very proactive, not reactive, in terms of creating a healthy lifestyle. They eat a certain way, they have a certain strategy towards exercise, and they want the exact same thing for their pets. Why? Because they see their pets as not like their children, as their children.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a huge difference, right? So I think what really happened was the market and the desires of the bulk of the pet owners changed. I think people started to turn their back on this very antiquated way of doing business, just come into the clinic and get supported. That really has to change. And on the human side, that's changed dramatically with the passage of ACA, right? Because they added 30 million people roughly to the insurance rolls, didn't add a single waiting room, hospital, any of those things. So they had to figure out ways to essentially create tiered service delivery for the human side.
Yeah, interesting. So where are you with financing? And I mean, what kind of plans do you have for the future for Ask Vet?
That's a great question. You know, our goal is to become the dominant player in the virtual part of animal health. We already are. We're the largest in the world. We see between 1,000 and 1,500 pet parents every day. And that number is growing dramatically. We're actually really moving towards a direct consumer model where we offer a virtual care program, a virtual health and wellness program through the Ask Vet app. You pay $30 a month, and for that we send you diagnostic tools, you know, blood kits, urine tests, fecal tests at home. Some of these are being rolled out as we speak. What you can do now is take those tests and have a plan constructed, as I said, utilizing our AI engine and our doctors specifically for your pet and your pet's needs. So we launched this in just several months ago. In our first 6 weeks, we had over 1,200 members sign up and subscribe. In that time, those members had nearly 3,600 engagements with our veterinarians and our system. They're tremendously satisfied. They give us 4.9 out of 5-star ratings. So what we're doing now is we have a 2-stage financing. We have a mezzanine round towards a very large Series A round that we hope to close later this year. We're actively raising a mezzanine round of $5 million to essentially propel our growth on the direct consumer side. So by the end of the year, our plan is to have 10,000 members paying $30 per month, and by the end of 2021, with that Series A raise at the end of this year, end of 2022, we hope to have 200,000 members paying a $30 a month subscription.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. What a fascinating story that led you to the company, and I think something certainly needed in society. So appreciate your time, Cal. Best of luck, and look forward to updates.
Thank you, Jane. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Closed captioning brought to you by Pray.com, the #1 app for daily prayer and bedtime Bible stories.
Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God. Believe also in me.
Download the Pray.com app today.
O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Selling a home is expensive